When you're an A-list celebrity with the kind of media attention and scrutiny that the Kardashians have to live with, you're also bound to have many fans, followers, and lovers. But sometimes these lovers get a bit obsessive, to the point where they stop respecting personal boundaries and use intimidation tactics to get what they want. Kim K is no stranger to strange men stalking her. Let's look at her experiences so far. Firstly, Kim just got a restraining order against her stalker. Everyone wants to be loved and desired. One motivation that people often have for becoming a celebrity figure is this need to be worshipped by their cult of fans. And it's all fun and games when you're getting millions of likes on your Insta posts and when you're receiving flowers and fan mail. But things take quite the ugly turn when a fan shows up at your house with a weapon and with the delusion that you two are soulmates. That's precisely what happened with our beauty mogul, Kim K, and her obsessive stalker, Andre Persad. The man not only tried to break into the Kardashian empire 3 times in August, but he also claimed that he could talk to Kim telepathically, and she secretly wanted him there. Sheesh, that's some next-level Dahmer energy. No wonder Kim felt the need to get a restraining order against him. The man can't come anywhere near her for at least 5 years. We don't blame her for responding the way she did, given that he literally showed up at her residence with a weapon in his hands. The woman literally lives with young children, and she couldn't risk having him get violent. But then again, the Persad incident wasn't Kim's first encounter with a fan gone nuts. And something tells us it won't be her last either. Let's look at why the reality TV star even has to deal with so many stalkers. Ever wonder what makes loving, sweet fans suddenly go all ballistic? Well, the change may not be as sudden as you think, especially when it comes to women like our beauty queen herself. Obsessive celebrity fans may turn into stalkers for a variety of reasons. In some cases, the fan may become fixated on the celebrity and develop an unhealthy level of fascination or infatuation. This obsession can lead the fan to engage in stalking behavior, such as repeatedly trying to contact the celebrity or showing up at their home or workplace. That's quite literally what happened with Ms. Kardashian. We understand that she's outright stunning, but that doesn't warrant infatuation to the point of insanity, does it now? In other cases, the fan may be motivated by feelings of jealousy or anger. For example, the fan may become jealous of the celebrity's success or relationships and may try to interfere with or disrupt their life. You see what we mean when we say Kim is a big red target for stalkers. She earns in billions, which is a little hard to digest for some folk. But then again, stalking behavior can also be a symptom of underlying mental health issues, such as personality disorders or substance abuse problems. If that was the case for Kim's latest stalker, then we're so glad that she restrained him before the situation worsened. Next up, what was the whole deal with Nicholas Costanza? Before we get into serious business, can we just point out how ironic it is that some people have names that give serial killer vibes? Ted Bundy, Dahmer, Costanza. You see what we mean? The names just scream stranger alert. Okay, we're kidding, but we need to keep the mood light for our fans so you all don't get too stressed. But do you all recall Nicholas Costanza? Last year, our lovely mother of 4 had to deal with yet another one of her, let's just say, passionate admirers. Costanza was so obsessed with the lady that he sent her a diamond ring and Plan B contraceptives. Yikes! He had some nerve. Looks like the man was fully preparing to wife her up. But imagine the number of boundaries he crossed while trying to woo her. What was he even thinking? We don't understand why some men think that such extreme displays of crazy are romantic in any sense of the word. Was he expecting that she'd somehow be charmed by his antics and land right into his arms? We can only speculate what his motivations may have been. And turns out his behavior may not have made Kim land in his arms, but they did manage to make him land in prison when he violated the terms of the restraining order Kim filed against him. Right now, he's out on bail worth $150,000. But if you ask us, we don't think he should be left walking around. This man is quite literally a menace to society, and there's no other way to put it. Moving on, Kim had a similar encounter with Zelenoff. If you think that Kimmy's little list of stalkers has ended, you're far from wrong. She has encountered so many obsessive men that, at this point, we say that we do feel sorry for her. No one wants to have to deal with the risk of being attacked or abused, especially when they have young girls in their home. We can't even imagine how terrifying all of this must have been for the poor woman. And while Costanza referred to her as Queen Kimberly and repeatedly expressed his desire to be her knight in shining armor, who would save her from her ivory palace, some of her stalkers have been a little less romantic and a little more aggressive in their approach towards her. One such example was the 32-year-old Peter Zelenoff, and his behavior was extremely off. He repeatedly expressed his desire to enter a sexual relationship with Kim. He took his desire a step further and tried to break into her house several times. Thank the heavens that Kim has a very staunch security team. She seems to need it very much, because they not only protected her from the assault, but were also able to get the man detained. In her court documents, the beauty guru repeatedly mentioned how terrified she was and how she felt harassed. post. Yikes! Given how many scary encounters this woman keeps running into, we'd advise her to really double her security. No wonder she walks around with bodyguards everywhere. Moving on, even Kim's loved ones aren't safe. So far, we've only spoken of stalkers motivated by uncontrollable love or desire, but not all of Kim's stalkers have been her lovers. Sometimes the obsession is inspired by hatred and not love. They're flip sides of the same coin if you really come to think about it. But before we get too philosophical about all this, let's just cut to the chase. Perhaps the most terrifying experience for Kim was getting more than 30 threatening messages from a man who apparently claimed the Keeping Up with the Kardashian star was on his hit list because of her recent actions. Now, we don't know what actions he was referring to, but it seemed as if he had some bone to pick with the Kardashians. It could all just be a terrible joke gone wrong, but bomb threats are not something to joke about. But this man did go that far. Back in April, Kim received a cryptic bomb threat suggesting that her office was going to be blown up. Before that, the same man had threatened to not only eventually kill Kim, but also kill her ex-boyfriend, Pete Davidson. And if this news is surprising and disturbing, wait until you find out what he did next. He dared to target Kim's little girls. Sheesh, that's a brand new low, even when it comes to stalkers. This man gave us serious serial killer vibes with his constant sexual references and threatening attitude. Let's look at Kim K's reaction to all of this. It takes no genius to figure out that all of this scared the life out of the poor woman. But then again, she's no damsel in distress, because this damsel knows how to protect herself. Especially ever since her encounter with robbery back in 2016, when she was robbed at gunpoint, Kim has become especially staunch about her security. That traumatic experience is bound to change anyone, so we don't blame her for her paranoia. She had good reason to be afraid. But our favorite Instagram idol didn't let fear immobilize her. Even when confronting death threats, she chose to take action and reported it all to the police. But despite all the efforts to protect herself, we can't fully ignore that having to experience all of this must have left an impact on her emotional health. All we can do is give her our best wishes and hope that she doesn't have to deal with more such incidents in the future. Lastly, ex-lover turned stalker. It's one thing to have strangers and obsessive fans constantly intimidate you and breach your personal space. In those situations, you can call the cops or file a restraining order. But when the threat of intimidation comes from someone you loved, built a life with, or raised a family with, the situation gets a little more complex and a lot more taxing. If you haven't guessed already, we're talking about Kim's ex-husband and the music industry icon Mr. Kanye West himself. And hey, you can protest all you want, but adding his name to Kim's list of stalkers was vital because his behavior was no different from everyone else on the list so far. So we don't see why he should be excused. As we all know, the couple called it quits in 2021, mostly because Kim was a little done with all Kanye's insane little antics. And normally, you'd expect that if a couple were to split up due to irreconcilable differences, then they would at least respect each other's space. These rules don't apply to Ye apparently, because not only did he purchase a house right across from his ex-wife's residence, but he also continued referring to her as his wife, sending her flowers and expensive gifts, and threatening her then-boyfriend, Pete. Stalker much? We'd say yes. Anyway, that's a wrap for today. Do you guys believe that Kanye was just like Kim's other stalkers? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. See you next time!